Guys, this is Scott from Scott's Isopod Adventures, and today we're going to be going through my Isopod collection. It's not very large at the moment. I'm still waiting for some to breed before I can start selling and getting a bit of a business together, but I'm really happy with the species I've got, and I'm just going to show you what I've got, show you how I've set them up. I'm always open to criticism. If you've got any suggestions or anything that you would change in my setups, please let me know. I'd really like to get you guys feedback. So let's jump right into it. So here we've got my A. Klugi Montenegro. These are the clown isopods. Really good species. We've got some food there that's a bit fluffy. That's not too bad. It's just mainly for the springtails, that is. So in here I've got a small sort of medium culture of clowns. And these are a great species of Armadillidium. The main thing with Armadillidium is they roll up into a little ball when they're disturbed. I won't do that on film because it's a bit mean, you know, sort of scaring them. Really want these guys to do well and breed. All these little bugs you see, these are the springtails. So springtails are kind of like a cleanup crew for cleanup crews. They're really great little bugs to have in a setup. And if I have a look, we'll try and find some babies. Might be able to. Let's have a look. So all of these white ones, like I said, these are all springtails. I will take out the majority of the fluffy food purely and simply because it is not beneficial to have it in with the isopods. They won't eat it, they won't use it. The springtails, there's more than enough there to feed springtails, so I don't really want to encourage that too much. I'm just having a look and seeing if I can find some lovely babies. You can see this is all rotting wood. And rotting wood is really key for isopods. Unfortunately we can't see any babies at the moment. I don't really want to disturb it too much. Maybe we'll look on the sort of more damp side. Sometimes there's some under the moss. In future videos I will be using a flash. I thought to put it on for this one, so we're just going to roll with it. But you can see absolutely stunning isopods these are. Lovely red skirt with white and yellow dots. Some of them, the yellow is not as pronounced, but I really can't complain. So let's put these guys back and we'll move on to the next one. Sorry about the amateur filming, this is my first video, so don't be too harsh. And now we're moving on to the Porcellio Lavas dairy cows. These are a real fan favourite in the isopod community. They are so popular, and as you'll see in a second, they breed like hell. There we go. I've actually taken a substantial amount out of this culture and put them in with my boa constrictor, well, boa imperator I should say. They are a really prolific starter species, and being quite popular, they are a good initial investment for anyone looking to breed and get in on the isopod hype. Absolutely stunning. You can see there why they get their name. They're just brilliant. You know, you can't complain. I mean, they're plucky little fellas. They really do crush food. Like, I can put food in here and it'll be gone. Well, I can go away, eat food myself, and come back and there won't be any food left. They are really hungry fellas. So that's the dairy cows. Really great species to get into. And then, without looking stuff, we now have another Porcellio Lavas species. These are the species Porcellio Lavas Giant Orange. So they're the same as dairy cows, they're just a different morph. And you can see these ones breed even more crazily. A lot more active than dairy cows I find as well. So really brilliant. And in terms of setup, the Porcellio Lavas They will just need lots and lots of leaf litter, a nice portion of moss. About a third of the tank should be a bit more moist and a bit more humid, and then the rest of the tank should be pretty much bone dry. They are not as touchy as some of the Spanish isopods I have that I'll go into later, but they will tolerate more dry environments. They're great for cleanup crews in general vivarium settings. So if I just put these three back and we'll move on to the next ones. What you're looking at while I'm putting these back is actually my millipedes and my springtail cultures. I will go into them at another date as they are new and I really want them to start settling in. So let's have a look. Just bring these down. Okay, so next up we've got the Porcellio Lavas milkback. Now milkbacks are a weird one. They're kind of like dairy cows, but they have a very strong pattern on the outside of their body, and the back, as the name suggests, is like a milky white. There's a really good example right here. So that is your typical milkback. Some of these will look more like snow whites, which I'll show you in a second, and others will look kind of like dairy cows. In a way, I want to keep them in here just in case they are heterozygous and I get more milkbacks from them. But if I get too many, I will move them into my other cultures and I will get them established with the rest of their morph. So they're the same again as the other two, but they're just a different colour pattern. This is the piece of apple. I'm leaving this in here longer than you'd normally leave food in there. It's really good for the springtails when it starts to blet a bit, and it will sort of go down into the substrate, and it's just good to sort of leave in, and as long as you don't get any gnats or anything nasty like that, you're perfectly alright to leave apple in. It makes really good food for the other inhabitants like the springtails. So yeah, let's move on. So as you can see, I keep them up on my shelf. So quite a good idea to keep them sort of all together. It keeps them in the same sort of microclimate, which means that you won't get any temperature fluctuations or anything that you wouldn't necessarily want for your colonies. You want pretty constant temperatures. They're all right at room temperature. Some people will say to keep them a little bit on the warmer side. I've actually got a little hitchhiker in here. I'll have to remove him after the video. That is a Porcellio Lavas pied. They're very hard to produce, so I'm not currently looking to split it off as it's the only one I can find. You can see these are O. Ocellus. They are Oniscus and they are actually native to the UK. Really good looking ones will have a yellow back and they are stunning. Quite similar to Porcellio spinicornis, another sort of more expensive species of isopod, but again found in the UK. So it doesn't really make much sense, but if I get these in the light you can sort of see they're almost starry. I really like them. I think they're absolutely brilliant, and when they start breeding they should breed like crazy. Again, you've got some apple, leaf litter. They do not need so much of a moist side. The general enclosure should be kept a little bit more humid than other species. Obviously, being UK native, they do tolerate more moisture and they do benefit from it. I've heard good things about people breeding with a higher moisture content in the viv, so I'm looking to do that. That is the only reason that you would really want more of a moisture content, is when you've got a species that do like it a little bit more damp. These are my Porcellio Lavas Snow Whites. I got these from a friend called Jack Lewis. He's on Facebook, absolutely brilliant guy. He's got quite a few species and will definitely do you some good prices. You can see the difference with these is they are basically patternless, and that's how they get their name of Snow White. They are absolutely brilliant. You know, then they're a smaller culture, I got less of these to start off with, but they're really taking off now. And the funny thing is, when I first got these, they were delayed in the post, and being quite cold at the moment in the UK, that was a real stressful time for me, as I didn't know if these would survive. But they did, and they're doing really well now, really active. I'll try and find some babies, but fingers crossed. I don't know if you can see them, but there are some in here. It's quite difficult to see the babies, they are quite small. You can see one just there. And yeah, so they are breeding. They will start sort of taking off like the others. You've got some carrot in there. That is sort of part of their diet. Porcellio will also take a lot more protein, so stuff like fish foods, better food. You can buy shrimp and dead dried fish from Micro Exotics. Micro Exotics is a brilliant company. I got a bundle of foods from them, and all of my isopods love them. The bundle normally contains spirulina algae wafers, like you would get for a pleco. It also includes bee pollen and the dried fish products, and they are absolutely brilliant for isopods. The Porcellios go crazy over the shrimp and the fish, and obviously Armadillidium being more vegetarian, they will go more towards the bee pollen and the algae wafers. This is my small colony of Porcellio Sevilla Caramel. So you can see them here. I've got about 10 individuals, and these will get to roughly 2 inches in length for fully grown. So they've got some growing to do. There is one quite large individual in here somewhere, but you can see they're really nice. These are actually a colour morph for the normal Sevillas. Normal Sevillas will look a bit like an isopod I'll show you later, called a Porcellio Hoffman Segai, and they are basically an inky blue, like an inky blacky blue, with a white skirt, and these get huge. They're from Spain, so in these I use less of a moist area, sort of a corner, and the rest is basically dry. Lots and lots of leaves, lots of rotting wood. They really do benefit from the rotting wood and the leaves. They're not specialist feeders per se, and they will take lots of protein, same as other Porcellios, but they will go through a lot of the natural biodegradables, purely and simply because they are a larger isopod. So we're coming up to about halfway, well, over halfway now. So we'll go on to our final stack of isopods. We'll start with the sort of least to show. These are a favour from a friend, Nick Richards from Shropshire Exotics, and they are Armadillidium species albino. So with Armadillidium species albino, sorry about that, these are just 2 adult individuals and then mankai. So I'll try and find them here. So you can see a little mankai there. Absolutely stunning. These will be a really light colour. You can see the adult here is a light colour with yellow hue. Absolutely stunning species. I'm sorry the music is a bit loud. It seems that this playlist is a bit unbalanced, so I'm just going to talk a little bit louder and we'll get through it. I do apologise. Final 2 species, and then I will show you my communal enclosure as well. So on these we've got the Porcellio Hoffman Segai, and these are the giant Spanish isopods. These will get over 2 inches, and they are absolutely stunning. I've only got 5 of these. They are quite an expensive isopod and will be brilliant to breed. You can see a huge one here. Absolutely stunning species. I won't disturb these guys too much as they are very new and I do want them to breed. So moving on to our final species, we have Armadillidium parakai. Armadillidium parakai is a species of roly-poly isopod, the same as the clowns, and these are a ghostly grey colour. They kind of look sort of translucent, and I think they're really cool. They're kind of powdery as well. So you can see babies have more of a distinct sort of patterning to them, and the adults are more of a drab grey. And people might think that these are kind of boring. I think they're really cool because I think they've got something unique about them. And with these you want the same sort of thing, a moist side, a drier side, and occasional spraying on the drier side. They will sort of like a little bit more moisture than standard Armadillidium species, so it's good to give them that. Another thing I will note is you see on the lids I've got the ventilation on the top on one side, and I've got the side ventilation. Now for Porcellio, Hoffman, Segai and Sevilla, being Spanish and needing a more arid environment, I flipped the lid around so I've got more of a flow between the moist and the dry sides. There's more airflow. And finally, the last thing I'm going to show you today is my communal tank. So this is the, sorry I keep on forgetting where my camera is, Ophiostreптus quinensis and the Pacnoda marginata, and these are the sun beetles and a chocolate millipede. I won't be able to show you the chocolate millipede unless we're really lucky and it's out and about. So let's have a look. No, we've got no chocolate millipede on show. We do have some of the sun beetles. I'll get one out. These guys will musk. It's not the most pleasant. It's not terrible though. Kind of smells a bit like rotting fruit and rotting wood, but not the worst in the world. You can see they're quite active, lovely looking beetles. Oh, they're also kind of clumsy. They will climb, which is why I've put this stick in here, but they are, as you saw, just quite clumsy beetles in general. So yeah, that's my collection as is. Please let me know what you think.